there was this huge ball of golden energy. It was just incredible energy, and there's this gorgeous like golden dragon, just both of them just floating up at the same time, and I'm in this kind of this hammock floating away, and I was just going, oh my god, this is amazing. And I was like, what's that golden ball of energy? And this golden dragon says to me, that's you, that's who you are.
Welcome to Guide to Spirituality's podcast with me, Stacey Bower. It's a down-to-earth space where we talk all things spiritual. Each episode, I'm joined by guests from all walks of life to share real experiences, practical tools, and honest conversations about healing, growth, and the unseen spiritual world. Whether you're just starting out or you're deep on your journey, this podcast is here to support your path with insight, connection, and that little bit of magic. Today, I'm joined by the incredible Colette from White Dragon Healing. She's a powerful energy worker who blends Reiki, angelic healing, and the fierce, loving presence of dragon energy. Her story is real and deeply moving, and we dive into her path and how it unfolded. The healing power of dragons and the moment everything changed during a session with her sister. You're in for something really special with this one. Hello, Colette. Thank you very, very much for joining me today. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you, and I appreciate the invite, Stacey.
You're more than welcome. I must admit, I do like the, is that a blossom behind you?
Cherry blossom, yeah.
Cherry blossom. I like cherry blossom. We've got a big cherry blossom tree in garden. Love it.
They're beautiful, aren't they?
Yes. So you are the lady behind White Dragon Healing.
Yes.
Now, that's pretty self-explanatory. However, you do a number of different healings.
Yes. Yes.
What was it that started you working with dragon energy?
The dragons, basically. They just they just popped up and went, we are a team now, and that's the way it's going to be going forward. So you can't really ignore the dragon energy for too long. You have to step into that energy. And that's what I did. And if I'm on this journey, there's no point, you follow the signs, you get led, and you go down the paths that you're meant to go down. So yeah.
So did you start with Reiki, or how did you start?
So this will kick back to when I was a child, and I just didn't realize it, but I was actually doing hands-on healing back then.
Oh, really?
And I just didn't know I was doing it. And then obviously, life puts you in a situation where you have to start making. You have to start putting things on the back burner, because it in the 70s it wasn't heard of. We didn't have, the circles that we have now. Or if there were, we just didn't know about them. I was a child, it was that kind of thing. And, we have to start putting blocks in place, don't we now? So that we can move forward, so I can get a decent night's sleep. Because I always tell people this, it's like any childhood trauma that my siblings and parents will have will been created by me, because from the moment I'm the youngest of my lot, and from the moment I was born, I never stopped screaming. So at night I called it fighting the forces of darkness, so night terrors. And they were very, very severe. So every night I would wake up screaming and running around like a lunatic. I had no idea what was coming. And honestly, I don't know why my siblings and my parents love me, but they do. It wasn't a night's sleep to be had. And, and if you speak to them now, and the ones that do have issues with the sleep, it's no doubt they're my fault. Trauma responsing. But yeah, it was bizarre, because I would see things, I had no idea what they were, didn't know what was happening. Things were coming out of the walls and the ceilings and through windows, and I was off out of here kind of astral projecting and all that kind of stuff. And it was a very strange time. So you put blocks in place to allow you to be able to not just you sleep, but your family, and to be able to go to school and learn and develop. So it was only later on in life when I'd say over the last maybe 7-8 years, I've kind of reconnected with the healing side of it. I've always had my connection with the moon and I suppose the spirit side of life. I've always been in that energy, whether it be going to visit, haunted spiritual like places and going to see if I can connect with ghosts and things like that or whatever. But the healing side of it, the journey was over the last maybe 6, 7, 8 years. And it's been, my first connection was to be called to have a Reiki session. And I think some years previous, back in the 90s, I did have some energy healing. And then again, I just came out of that space, and then I've reconnected with it. And the lady who I did my Reiki training with, she took me through from level 1 right through to teacher master.
Yeah.
Teacher, and I think it was during the training for being a Reiki practitioner that the call for the angelic side started coming through. And obviously I went down a path of looking into that, and like you do. And then once I got my master teacher stuff, I went in and did the 4 levels in the angelic side of life as well. And it was obviously, it's in this journey, so it's in and amongst, it's all kind of entwined together, the callings and the visions and the kind of the guidance that you seek to go on your journey. And the dragons were coming in, and for a while I didn't really understand what was happening. I just thought they were just part and parcel of stuff that was coming. Didn't really know that they wanted me to work, or we needed to work together, and it was something that was going to come through. And it was just a big journey that I went on, and I absolutely loved. And it's taken me like to various different places throughout our country to go. And it's only afterwards that you realize that these are dragon lines, which are now called ley lines. And
Airlines.
yeah, and the path that you take. So I could be driving down a road, and I'll get a sense that there's a ley line here that I need to cleanse. So then I will call in like the deep blue dragon to cleanse and burn off any stuck or stagnant energy within that ley line as I'm driving through. And then on the way back, I can get a secondary energy coming down to see. I'm like, yes, okay, that's good, that's done. Or right, no, hang around a bit longer, spend a bit more time here, and get that kind of energy flowing. And it's a very beautiful thing having these different types of connections in like when you do meditations and the different paths it can take you down and the different journeys you can go on, and seeing past lives and being a part of such an epic journey from the beginning really down to where we are now here. It's been incredible. But I think that the dragon energy healing came about from a very personal situation that we had as a family. My sister was sick, one of my sisters, and we all kind of knew it was she had cancer. We all kind of knew it was going to be lung cancer. And anyway, it was confirmed. And the week before her surgery for the lung cancer, she was coming to me for some healing, and that was going to be on the Friday. But on the Tuesday before that, I'd been woken up in my sleep, and there was someone stood next to my bed, and they're basically saying to me, "We have a gift for Kath," my sister. So I was like, right, okay. So I put my right hand out, and they put something in the palm of my hand, and I don't know what it was. I just closed my hand over it, and I put it to my heart, and I said, "Thank you," and they left. So the next day, I'd messaged my sister saying what had happened. And when she came on the Friday night for her healing, I said, set the intention that she would get the gift that she would needed. I think at this point, I think my business name was like Cosmic Blue Connection or something, like Colette's Cosmic Connection. It was something like that anyway. And so we did this healing, and as soon as I put my hands on her, the most incredible white dragon just sat on my right shoulder, and it didn't move. I mean, it was magnificent. It was just beautiful. Didn't give me any information, just sat there, and I just knew that this was powerful, and I was just like, wow. And I just did the healing. It ends. My sister says, "Oh, was your left hand not working?" And I was like, "No, what do you mean?" She goes, all the heat was in your right hand. It was just the whole right side of my body. I could feel it through, because she had like layers on. I could feel it through the layers and the blankets that you had on top of me. And I was like, wow, okay. So then we took my dragon cards out, and I think there's about 3 or 4 dragon cards within the deck, and I think all of them came out. And I was going, I don't know what this white dragon means, but I think it potentially could be for you. So I said, I've asked them to give it to you if that's your gift, kind of thing. So fast forward to the week, the following week, where her surgery is on the Friday. So she goes in. I kind of do, like where you open up the space for healing and allowing that energy to stay within that environment. and to protect her. And I asked at that point if the white dragon was for her, could that white dragon please stay and keep her safe? So that was fine. Surgery day comes and goes. You know, we go and see her, and, you know, things are okay. And then on the Saturday evening, I'd gone down. I was meeting one of her youngest child there, and we were talking, but things weren't quite right, you know. And we were having conversations with the doctor. I was going, I'm not too sure what's going on here. And we had questions anyway, so we were having this conversation, and there was a point where we took her to the toilet, and she was getting back into bed, and then she just went, and we shouted for the doctors, and at this point she's had a cardiac arrest. So you can imagine everybody comes running, the lights are going, the sirens are going, the bells, everything. And it's weird because when you're in that situation, movement was slowed down, everything was slowed down, but the noise was at the right speed. And this had gone on for, you know, some minutes that we've been told to get out. We're on the phone, we're ringing family members, you know, they're working on her. We can see there's just like a sea of people around, we're all doing. And, you know, this went on for a long time. This went on for a considerable amount of time. And then we can see movement, and then people are backing off, and we can see that she's back, and she's got this oxygen mask on her. And I'm on the phone to our mother, and so I go in and I'm like, Kath, it's me. And she takes the mask off. She goes, it's okay, the white dragon's here.
Never.
Yeah. So I was just like, you can imagine. I was like, oh.
That sent me all goose, probably, as that.
Yeah, it's incredible. So obviously, you know, thankfully she's well, and she's home and stuff like that, and she's well into her recovery. And it's just been over 12 months. So yeah, and the next day I was talking to a friend of mine, and I told her the story. And she sent me over this kind of little glyph of a white dragon, and she's put on it white dragon healing with Colette. And that's where the business name changed. And pretty much, I mean, the constant now, the dragons are with me. Me and my dragon have morphed into one. Everywhere I go is my dragons. My dragons come into my healing. So I bring forward my healing, and I call it like the Trinity of healing. So the Reiki masters come in, the angelics come in, and the dragon energy is always there. So the various different dragons will come in for various different reasons. And that's a learning curve. So I'm getting to see a pattern coming in.
Yeah.
So, you know, like we spoke previously, and I was saying that with readers, the aura can be quite tacky, and that's how I see it. It's tacky, sticky. And like a rainbow dragon will come in. So when I've done healing on readers and so forth, the rainbow dragon comes through, and it lifts that stuck and stagnant energy off people. And that in itself, people can feel that, and you can see that quite quickly on them. They feel that lightness. They feel that kind of shift. It's kind of like, I do feel a little bit more freed up. You know, I've got that movement. I don't feel so heavy, because in the field that people use within that, they're crossing over into the veil's very thin, and they're moving through dimensions, aren't they? And you know, these energies, not just from the people that sat with them and communicating from the other side, but the energy on the peripheral.
That's it. Yeah.
And that's the ones that you've got to be careful for. And that more than likely, they're the ones that bind to people's auras. And the rainbow dragon seems to be quite effective in cleansing and shifting that.
Right.
And it was quite unusual. I was doing a healing on a reader, and I was normally you'd bring in the violet flame to kind of get that chakra system opened and running and lifting anything stuck that's in there. But I was the violet flame just wouldn't go. It was just kind of like, what is going on? And then I kind of just said, right, okay, well, what flame do I need? And then this most magnificent, beautiful rainbow dragon just appears at the foot of the bed. And when I say rainbow dragon, it's because every color imagined is just moving through this dragon, and it's very it's kind of it's like Mercury. It's movement. It's beautiful. It's gliding. Everything about it is very, you know, just incredible. And the colors that come down through the flame are just the colors I can't even begin to imagine to give you names to. You know,
Yeah.
color scheme is just very different. So I call it the rainbow dragon. because of that. But the energy it comes in with, it just goes, and you can just see the euphoric field just lift and start. All this stuff kind of comes up and just gets transmuted into love and light and energy, and it just sparkles, and it's incredible. And obviously, I love seeing it. And I have the same thing when I'm working with somebody and I'm doing a healing and I'm taking stuff out and I'm just pulling it, and I just go like this. And I'm not just wantonly throwing, other people's trauma into somebody else's field.
No,
It's like, oh, you have that one.
Yeah, you have that one, love. You know, all right with that.
So when I do this, my dragons are there to burn it. And they transfer that and they transmute that into love and light. So if anybody is walking past or if anybody is working behind me at an event or anything like that, then that energy is transmuted. So they're not getting stuck with anybody else's rubbish kind of thing or anybody else's darkness or that kind of tacky energy, that they're actually getting sprinkled with the love and light and healing
Of the dragon energy, yeah.
Yeah, and I love it. And it's not just the dragons, but all of them, because like I say, it's like a team effort, and we come in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I absolutely love it. And sometimes, when you open your space up, and sometimes I'll be be at an event or something, I start to open my space, and if somebody, there's a point in it, I think, where they make eye contact with me, or they see me, or something happens, and I might smile at them all, and they have this bit of eye contact where they get overwhelmed. And then they have to come in and then they have to hug me and they start crying because whatever energy that they pick up once I've opened that field, it affects them quite deeply, So, and it's quite beautiful, it's a beautiful experience that me and these random strangers can share. So I do love it. It's when I'm at my happiest is when I'm doing this.
That must be a lot on your energy, though.
I don't feel it.
No, yeah.
No, and I think this is, the conversations that I have with people. If when I'm at an event, I would be happy just be back to back with people, just energy, heal. Because obviously, when I'm doing a healing, I get some as well. I'm the vessel, so it just comes through me and into them. It becomes, I pick up the good and the bits that that I need. So I always feel quite energized afterwards. I always feel quite happy and good form, and I'm like, I'm good with it. So yeah, it's good.
How do other people when you tell them I work with the dragons, I work with Rainbow Dragon, how do people take that?
A lot of people don't and haven't heard of dragon energy healing. A lot of people understand what Reiki means. They understand. Some of them have had Reiki. Some of them have had angelic. A lot of people don't get the dragon energy. They don't understand what that is. And and I say to people, have you had energy healing? And they say, no, I've not had energy healing, but I've had Reiki. Okay, and it's kind of like, right, okay, so Reiki is energy. It's an energy healing. It's and everything is about energy. And the way I describe it is because they say, well, what's the difference then between the angelics and the dragons and stuff? And so the way I explain it to people is like dragons go where angels can't. Okay, so dragons are multidimensional. They can go direct to source, to Mother Gaia, and then in everything in between. They are multidimensional. They can go down your timeline, into your present and into your future. They can go to the planets where they can communicate and bring that energy forward. And they really can help lift and burn and remove that kind of generational, damage that gets done. It gets passed down through the generations. And as women, we sit in our root chakra and we can do loads of work in there. And the dragons burn through the timelines. And it's incredible. And it's like when Archangel Michael came to me in February, and he said to me, I need you to do this karmic tie releasing thing. I need you to do this karmic lesson thing. And here's a sword. So this was like the fourth sword that Archangel Michael's given me on this journey I'm in. And he's very prevalent with me in all of this. And I was like, right, okay. So the way he shows me now is if it comes off like somebody's body like a red thread. Okay, it's like a red tie, and it's a karmic tie. It's a karmic lesson that people learn, but they don't let go of. They hold on. And this is generational as well as just what's in today's present, kind of life that people lead, and there's things that get stuck in our energy fields. And when I do, and if I see an aquamarine dragon coming in, I'm looking for my sword. I'm thinking, where's the red thread? So what will happen is sort of like I will do a clearance of their energy systems. I will get the chakras up and running. I open over for months and months now. I'm opening up. I've been called to open up like the higher heart chakra and the navel chakra. They're back online because divine feminine energy is on the rise. These were shut like tens of thousands of years ago at the fall of Lemuria and Atlantis. And these are coming back online now because they were misused by the toxic masculine energy that came into play. Okay, so they're coming back on now because the feminine energy is on the rise. And this is Samuel, Gabriel, Hope, and Christine. These are all coming through. Okay, archangels and archaea, they're a team. They're the twin rays. So you don't. They're all there. You just got to call them in. And we have this thing. So when I see the aquamarine dragon, I kind of know there's going to be a karmic lesson tie that needs to be severed. So obviously, then Archangel Michael's there. I cleanse the aura, get the chakras open, and then the karmic tie will present itself, and I will sever it. If I'm guided by Archangel Michael to sever it at that time, it gets severed. And don't get me wrong, sometimes it's not. It shows me, and then it says, I get told then to pass the information on to this person that they have a lesson that they haven't fully learned, and once they have, to let it go. But it's a lesson from the past, or it might be a present one that's showing itself now, but it is a generational one rather than just one that you've experienced. It's something that's been passed through the generations. So look at the lineage and see where this could be happening. And I just say to them, when you're ready and you think, and you have that light bulb moment, you think, right, that's it. That's what I needed to learn. That's what I need to let go of. Just release it. Don't house it anymore. Just let it go because it's not doing you any good. It weighs us down and it takes our energy fields down and it stops us ground and it stops us connecting. Stops us our systems running correctly and feeling well and being happy and it's so it's incredible. The journey's just incredible and it's just new things happen all the time. I'm never surprised.
I don't know if I just got like a bit of a light bulb on myself there. So I'll tell you what's going on and then you could tell me whether I like Stacey. Come on, love. It's been going on for ages. Why have you not recognised it? So I have an issue with my lower back. I've had it for years, since I was about 11, I think. We've been going to doctors with it. I went for it last year. So I have, and I'm actually, every time it seems to, I get somewhere with it, I go back again. And I'm like, what is going on? Now, sitting with spirit myself, I know I've got a massive issue with my root chakra. I'm ungrounded all the time. I have to constantly ground, but I do like to work with spirit a lot. So it doesn't surprise that sometimes I'm quite ungrounded because I'm quite high up a lot of time, which is fine. When you said then, though, about, and I know some of it's with the mother wound, and I know some of it is from a past life issue with the lower back. I'm just wondering now why I've never called in a dragon to help me with this.
Well, I suppose the thing is, did you know about dragons?
Well, the thing is, I want to say no, but right now this is going to sound like I'm a bit of a tea leaf, and I'm not. We once had a cacao ceremony, and the lady that came to do it, Sharon Thomas, lovely woman, she had a deck of dragon cards. These here. She had a deck of these dragon cards with dragon oracle cards.
Diane Cooper. They're my cards. They're not my cards. Diane Cooper's. I use them.
Yeah. And I looked at him and I said, Sharon, I says, can I have them cards? And she went, no. She says, look, Sharon, I'm not being funny. I said, I want them. I was like a child. And she went, right, that's fine, Stacey, but no, I'm sorry, they're mine. I went, no, Sharon. I want them. I'm having them. Anyway, eventually she went, oh, I'll have them. It's fine. So she gave them me. I was like, right. Now, for a while, I were really using these cards. I was really drawn to them. And then I ended up having a black dragon come in a meditation, really deep voice. And I could say he were male, but I don't actually know if dragons are male or female. I don't actually know. But it seemed, I don't know what he was showing me. I don't really know what were happening. But he came. But then, funnily enough, I was doing a healing on Monday and I got a red dragon in.
Beautiful.
How interesting is that?
So it sounds to me like, obviously, the root chakra is probably the blockage from from the generational
Yeah.
information and trauma that's been stored and passed down to you in this life.
Mm.
And it's interesting that you speak about the mother wound, the witch wound, and the sister wound, because that's very prevalent as well for what you do. So being a psychic medium, connecting to the other side, there'll be a lot of that from the witch trials, won't there? Where people,
Yes.
villages were just, set upon, and they were forced to say and do things that weren't true. People were turning on each other, and it was an horrific time. But people do what they need to do in horrific times to save themselves, and that's the sad side of it, because there weren't very many people that could step into the energy of being righteous, and because it's terrifying, and especially when using things like torture and things like that on your children and stuff. Is they always knew how to do that, didn't they? King Lear's got a lot to answer for, him and his bloody witch trials. But yeah, so we store things in our root chakra, our solar plexus, our sacral, and with your navel chakra not being probably open and your higher heart not being open, there's always going to be that kind of link that's missing. So we need to work on that. Well, let's get your higher heart open, get your navel chakra open, and let's get that generational trauma moved so your root chakra can fully open up into ground. Now you can also open up the chakras in your soles of your feet and your hands, and we can do that. You can open that up so that you're fully aware and able to throw that lasso down to Mother Gaia, Mother Earth, and just connect and keep yourself in that situation. Now, when I do my guided meditations on a Monday night, before we get into the cosmos for our healing, we'll have that connection to Mother Gaia. She holds on to us, Mother Earth, Mother Nature. She's with us. She's got us. 2 chords, sometimes 1 chord, whichever way she wants it, or whichever way I'm guided to do it. But we have that connection, and then we're off up into the cosmos. We're connected to Source and the Divine, and then any and all multi-dimensions that can come through, the planets and stuff. So we have this kind of umbilical cord top to bottom, and we're in this nice, beautiful bubble, and we're protected and we're guided, and we don't go anywhere that we're not supposed to, because we are always, no matter, even if we come out of that bubble to go flying around with dragons and pegasuses and unicorns, we will always have this connection to Earth and to the divine. So just always just set your anchor with Mother Earth before you move off to go to the higher realms, because it is very floaty and beautiful out there, and you can kind of go, ooh.
Yeah, it's a lovely energy of being in it, but you've just got to come back to reality.
That's the one, and it's I do that sometimes when I'm in meditations. I get carried away when I'm up there because it's beautiful energy, and then I'm going, shit, I need to get out, get people
feel now.
To get the close down. And the one that I always and I don't struggle with it. When I say the word struggle, I don't mean it because I find it hard to close it. It's because I love the energy from the heart center. So I close crown, third eye, throat, and then I do the root, the sacral, the solar. Disconnect from Mother Earth, disconnect from Source, and then the last one really is that beautiful heart center. Even now, I'm like, oh, I love it. It's that kind of thing, and you just got to bring it in and bring it down. Because the last thing I want to do is be in that situation where we're on a timer. It's you get 1 hour, only 1 hour, and it closes, and it's just like bleeding. I'll get everybody back. It's like diddle-oo, diddle-oo.
Hi, I'm just taking a quick break to thank you all so much for listening to the podcast and for all your lovely support. If this episode gave you something to think about or simply felt helpful, you can support future episodes and my tea habit over at Buy Me a Coffee. The link is buymeacoffee.com/guide to spirituality. Every little bit helps me keep creating, sharing and growing this space, and I'm truly grateful.
So yeah, it's lovely, and there's ways and means to do it, obviously. But yeah, I think working with, if you've got dragons coming in, the black dragon, I loved it. I think it was the image I got was the black dragon from Saturn, which is very much about spiritual journeys, bringing you into gold, giving you that bubble of protection around you. And if it was the Saturn dragon, you will find it in your deck. See if you connect with it.
Yeah, we'll do. I'll have to look.
There is another one. There are several, but you know, if you go through the deck of cards, but if you look, that's the image I was given. So there's nice little kind of globe with some flowers inside it, and it's this Saturn, black dragon from Saturn is actually about protection in
Yeah.
that. And I think that was quite a beautiful. That was the image that threw to me. So
Yeah.
look at that card, have a read of it, and see if you feel.
See if it fits with me.
Yeah, and the red dragon's great because sort of like, so if I'm working with people who potentially have inflammation or arthritis anywhere, I bring in the fire dragon, and you know, they come in and they burn all that inflammation through.
Now that's interesting that a fire dragon would burn inflammation, because obviously inflammation's hot. You'd think it'd be a water dragon, wouldn't you, that did that?
No, I know you would think so, but I think
Yeah.
the water dragons for me, the energy from the water dragons, they come in, but they're not for that, because they
Right.
that kind of that swelling within the joints and down through the system, you know, in your arteries and all that kind of stuff. It's just, we push it down and get it out. It just burns and lifts all that away. It's like it's almost like it's evaporates it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like eradicates it there. No.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the one that comes in. Well, that's the one that comes in for me when I'm doing a healing, and I see anything like that, and I just do it. You know.
Yeah. So you have to answer me this then, right? So before were working spiritually or what have you,
Yeah.
if I were to, so if you meet somebody now that's like non-spiritual, or you know, has got an interest but ain't really into it, and you start saying, well, yeah, I work with Rainbow Dragon, I work with Saturn Dragon, and this, that, people must look and go like, this woman's not quite on this planet. She's a bit not here, is this lass? All right, you know what I mean? That sort of thing. Do you get that a lot, or do you just like, it is what it is, I'm not bothered and we're doing it?
Oh, I'm very not bothered.
Yeah.
I speak my truth and I'm authentic. I won't, you know, I won't hide who I am and what I do anymore. I just don't do it. I refuse to do it now. And I think sometimes what happens is people tend to say, I have no idea what you're talking about. It does sound interesting, but I'm just gonna take 3 steps back from you now. And others are really intrigued, and they're just like, what does that mean? You know, tell me more. I absolutely love it. So yeah, you're going to be, you know, I think, and to be fair, most people are. I haven't met someone yet who's been really rude about it or anything. No. I just said a dragon after the minute. Burn, baby, burn. No, I wouldn't.
I don't believe it. No, I'm joking. So do you think some of it is like fear though? Because obviously, if I said now, oh yeah, you know, a dragon, they're always depicted as being, you know, this fire breathing monster as such, aren't they? And actually, dragons are totally different to how they're portrayed a lot of time. They're full of wisdom, aren't they? Dragons.
Yeah, they're the wisest age, like the wisest kind of entity that you can have. I mean, they're almost like the kind of the architects of the universe. Their wisdom and their age is that old. You know, this, and like, dragons are the highest order of the angelic realm. They're the seraphim, and because of the way that the imagery around a dragon is, society wanted them separated from the idea of angels. And what a lot of people forget is, this comes back to what you were saying about, I don't know if angels are male or female. They're like angels. They're not particularly sex, but you can get an energy from them.
That's it, yeah.
And it's the same with the angels. The angels come in different ways. Now, it only took 2 generations for female archaea to be wrote out of the books about angels. So for every male archaea, you have the female counterpart. So as an example, I get a lot of contact with Archangel Michael.
Yeah.
His female archaea, his counterpart, his twin ray is Archaea Faith, and they both hold the blue ray, and they are part of the throat chakra and things like that. About speaking your truth and being open and honest and being authentic and speaking from a heart-centered place. Okay, so if you are authentic and you speak words of love and because sometimes we have to say things that people don't want to hear.
Yes.
But if we say it in a nice way and we're calm about it, and it comes from a place of love that we want to help and protect them, then the words you would hope would be received in the way that they were meant. Okay, if somebody takes umbrage to what we are saying and it's the truth and it's said in from a heart-centered place, then that person has a lot of healing that they need to do. Okay, so they've gone into a trauma default response, and I'm all in. I'm all ready to help. I want to, I want to take you on a journey. I'm happy to be by your side in this journey. If you need to sit in the dark, I will hold the light. That's how it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it's yeah, it's kind of it can be a strange one because we need to make sure that we do what we do, and having that energy, they will come to us as how they need to be, because we both have male and female in us.
Yes.
Find the balance between the masculine and the feminine is what's important. So in this 10,000 plus year of toxic masculine energies, because they refuse to recognize and pay homage to the female divine energy that can come in. They didn't want it anymore, and then they very quickly wrote us out of history. So a lot of the women are responsible for a lot of the good things that happen on this planet, but the men took responsibility for it and took credit for it because, women weren't allowed to get educated for a long time. They weren't allowed to fight. They weren't allowed to produce papers and work and all this kind of stuff. And all that absolute dire rubbish that comes through history because of that toxic masculine energy that was prevalent for so many years. And that really is what happens. So if you think about, even if you think about like the animal kingdom, toxic masculine energy is not allowed.
No.
All the animals will come together, and all the females will come together, and they will either kill that male or they will send it out of the tribe. And the males don't argue with that. They just go, he is toxic, let's get gone.
Yeah.
Let's get him gone. It's only human race that allows it. Us as humans, we are the only race on this planet that allow that to take place, that don't actively do anything to stop that toxic masculine energy from destroying the village or group or whatever. We just don't do anything about it. And hopefully that's going to change as we come into these energies. But so the idea of having the male or female sex isn't really there. They're androgynous, aren't they? They're not sexed. It's just that they can bring in a feminine energy or they can bring in a masculine energy, depending on what's needed at the time. So there's that, there's the gentle side that comes in, which is about Mother Earth, about nature, about nurturing, about healing and, taking care of. And then you've got the big energy that comes in, which is the masculine energy, which can be about, having to fight, having to do this, having to do that, that kind of like push through. And this is why we need the balance, because we can't always have that fight. We have to have that soft, gentle energy coming in as well. And we have to find that balance. And the only way to do that is to be authentic, speak your truth, but do it from a place of heart. So if we say no because we want to say no and not because we're spiteful and trying to get our own back at somebody,
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. We say yes because we want to say yes and not because we want to people please.
That's it. Yeah.
And it's just
I feel like there is a lot of that minute. There's a lot of people fearing what they say, fearing, I don't really want to say that in case it upsets somebody or it offends somebody and actually that's your truth. So it's so hard, and I feel like it's getting worse. I see a lot of people at minute with the throat chakra totally blocked because they are, they don't want to be saying, well, actually, I don't agree with that. They feel like they've got to agree with stuff, in all walks of life now. If you perhaps misgender somebody, and you don't know, you're in trouble. It's all like everybody's offended, everybody's worried about stuff, everybody's panicked that there's going to be like retaliation. They're going to get into trouble. It's a lot in there a minute.
I think there's a lot to be said for how things are perceived and how we say things. So I mean, I don't want to go down any kind of political routes or anything like that.
Oh no.
As an example, like the misgendering type thing, there are certain situations is why does gender have to come into it?
Yeah.
Why do we have to know if that person wants to be recognized and presents themselves as male or female? Why do we actually have to know? It's like I have this conversation with people. I'm not your average Yogi Bear. I'm not built like your normal female. I'm 5'10". Got a 34-inch leg. I've got size 10 feet. I've got arms that go on forever. So it's, so me and clothes do not get on. So I find it very difficult. I'm not going to walk into a women's clothes shop and find something to wear. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think clothes should be gendered. I just think clothes should be clothes. You should
Yeah, it's what it is. If you like it, wear it. If you don't.
to go in and buy whatever you want. If you like it, wear it. And that's how I see it. Same with shoes. I don't think we should gender shoes. I don't think we should gender clothes. I think we should just have like some gender free things. If you like that shirt, if you like that skirt, wear them. Who cares?
Yeah.
I don't care. And for me, I think sometimes we over label things. We put things into labels because we don't know what to do, because it
Yeah.
panics. And it's just kind of like, just because it's not what you think or feel or how you are presenting, it doesn't mean that they can't. And why does it bother you so much? These are options for us to learn. These are options for us to do a little bit of research into ourselves, to turn that looking glass on us and just say, well, okay, so why am I offended by that person presenting? They present as they want to be, presenting as a female, but they were potentially born male. Why does that offend me? Why does that confuse me? Why does it scare me? Why do I dislike this? So there are areas that you need to look at, because they're just going around and living their best life. They're not hurting you or trying to cause any harm to you. And I think that's what we need to start to establish, that if what somebody else is doing isn't hurting you, then what is wrong? Why are you offended by other people's religions? Why are you offended by the way other people dress? Why are you offended by the color of people's skin, or how they present themselves, or if they're not doing you any harm and they're not going around harming, what does it matter?
Yeah.
And I think the society has a lot of shackles attached to it, and what is right and wrong. And again, this all goes back to, I promise you, I'm not trying to be misandry or anything here at all. I love men, and I've got lots of beautiful male friends in my family, in my life, and and I'm not misandry in any way, shape, or form. But what I'm saying is that the rules that were set down in society were set down by men to control women.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back generations. It goes back generation after generation after generation, and we are slowly coming through and picking through these things. And I think the beautiful thing is when you're like doing this healing work and we're connecting with people, more and more men are coming through.
Yes.
More and more men are being open to, having that experience, because they feel it. They feel the calling. They feel that loss, and they feel, a male depression is something that's dear to my heart. Male suicide is, it's at an all-time high, as well as females, obviously. But we have to remember that as much as we say all this has been put into places, because not only did they take away the women's rights, but they said to men, this is how you have to behave. And if you don't behave like that, then you're not normal. And it's kind of
like, you're not a proper man, are you then?
Yeah, it's like, oh, what does that actually mean? Because now I think I actually don't want to behave like that. I actually want to connect with this because this suits me. This aligns with me. But this image that I'm supposed to have, because that's what my granddad or my great-granddad or my great-great-great-granddad did, and my dad is saying I need to do, so why can't I? Why am I different? I don't feel right. I don't connect, and I don't belong here.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I find, is, when they're in that situation where they feel that they can't connect and belong, is when they start to go down that very dark route of depression, and that suicide tendencies can come through, because there is a lot of pressure on all of us, men and women and children, to perform in a certain way and to meet certain tick boxes and criterias. And if we can remove all that and people can just be people, and you go to an age of consent and you can just be a person and you can be with whoever you want to be, wear whatever you want to be, and as long as we're not running around hurting people, that to me is a perfect life.
Yeah.
That is what we do. And I think if the spirituality and the angelics and the dragons and the unicorns are doing what they're doing, and the Reiki masters and the connection from spirit and the divine, so that, the people that have passed over they're enlightened now. They kind of can go, I got it wrong, so I'm going to give you this.
Yeah.
I actually got it wrong. Sorry, son. You don't need to be like me. You can be you. I would listen. You are welcome here anytime. That kind of thing, And I think that's important. And when the dragons first came to me, one of the first things that they wanted me to do, which I'm hoping to get going and sorted, I've got my first event on August the 16th. They wanted me to connect people to do these guided meditations so people could connect to their dragons and the unicorns, they want that beautiful healing energy from the unicorns to come back in. And unicorns haven't gone anywhere. They're just cloaked for protection because of the way humans were to them when they realized that the unicorn horn had healing properties. So they went on the hunt for the unicorns to sever the horn off their heads, because that's what toxic humans did. It was like, get that horn, we can cure it. And that all goes back from where a body of water was, it became poisoned, and it was making people very sick and killing people. And the unicorn came along and healed the water, and then that was it. They just hunted it. So now they are living behind the veils, still doing what they need to do, but still waiting to be called in.
Okay.
And it's like the angels. There's, believe it or not, there is what they call, the term is unemployed angels. So these angels aren't designated to a person. They're just kind of waiting in the wings, and we can call them in at any time. So, if I'm walking into a hospital and I've got people there or something like that, like when my sister was poorly,
Yeah.
I just said, obviously I left the dragon with her and stuff like that. But I also said, any unemployed angels, I ask you now, please step forward and be with the people that need you, because they don't have free will. So we have to ask them to do that. So that's what we do.
Fair enough. I like that. I like that it's on hand at any point.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, no doubt we are now. There's a couple of angels going, well, I'm here. What are you going to ask me to do?
Like, yeah, what do you want me to do? I'm ready. Yeah.
Step into our energy. Give me the words. Give me the guidance. Just step into our energy, and and just make us feel that that things. And sometimes things that, do you ever that sense where sometimes you just feel like somebody's hand's been put on your shoulder, or
you've just got that support. Yeah.
And you just think, I don't know who you are, but thank you. I love that. I needed that right there. And it's in the end, and that's what we need, and it's beautiful.
So what's next for you? What have you got planned? What's coming? Have you got some grand plans?
Yeah, well, I've got this event, my first event, which I'm looking forward to, and that's on the 16th of August. And that's just kind of like a 3-hour session where we're going to do a real deep transformational cleanse. We're going to do some cacao to get that heart center open. We're going to do some nice breath work. We're going to lift and start, really pulling out that stuck energy that we've got through our timelines. We're going to get some guided meditation in there. I'm bringing all my instruments. I'm going to be like this one woman, kind of like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Whilst because it's all going to be done in gravity chairs, and people are going to be hopefully in this wonderful environment where they can let go of all this kind of trauma that's been stored, and they'll be getting hands-on healing as we're going through and doing the meditations and stuff. And then the place that I've hired out is called Silver Tree Wellness, and that's based in Nantwich. So there's this beautiful teepee. I've got it capped at 10 people. And then they've got this beautiful big fire pit outside, so people can do a bit of journaling, and then afterwards we can get it burnt off. And there's always going to be tea and biscuits and a bit of cake. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
When you've done a deep transformational cleanse like that, you definitely need a brew and a biscuit. So yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it. And like I said, this is I would say for the past maybe 2-3 years, the dragons have been guiding me on this path to get to this. And when I went to Silver Tree for an event, I kind of knew that was a place that I wanted to work in. I want to bring, and I knew I kind of wanted to bring my first event to that place. So I am looking forward to that, and hopefully, it will, I can find other venues to move around and do it. I don't want to be staying in one place. I'm based in Manchester, and that's why I like doing my events, because it means I can get out and
get further afield.
Yeah, and that's what I want to do. I just want to find beautiful venues so that I can travel around. I can bring this beautiful trinity of healing to people. We can get the guided meditations. We can do the breath work. We can really do that deep transformational connection and cleansing and lifting and just releasing everything, and bringing that power into not just the women, but to the men as well, so that we can connect with and find that balance within us with our masculinity and our femininity, and just allowing each of us to grow and to see that love that we have for ourselves, to recognize and be self-aware, and to have that self-worth, and knowing that we can step into that energy of the male and the female without question, and knowing guided to do that. And that's the journey that we'd be on, and get the dragons in, get them connected, You know, people say, "Oh, I know someone else who gets dragons," and I'm just going, "That's wonderful. Connect. Ask your dragons. Ask who your team is." A lot of people don't ask who their team is. They don't ask who their ancestors are, or the spirit guides or the spirit animals, who are their angelic team. We all have them, and you will have the most amazing and wonderful creatures out there that want to be on your team, that are just waiting in the sidelines, because we have to allow them in. We have to give that part of us permission to open up and receive. And we do that in various different ways, and more often than not, it's just understanding and accepting that we're never actually truly alone.
Mm.
So let's find out who these are and get connected to them. And the dragons, that's what they want to do. They want to bring that connection in. And I remember having this guided meditation. That Michael is beautiful. I love Michael's energy. It was transmute, and we did this beautiful guided meditation, and it was back in time to meet the original you. And we were in this hammock suspended from the ceiling, and he was taking us on this journey, and it was wonderful. And in this journey, I went back, and above there was clouds, and above the clouds was kind of like this. There were buildings. There was like a dome with a spiral coming off them, and there was this huge ball of golden energy. It was just incredible energy, and there's this gorgeous like golden dragon, just both of them just floating up at the same time. And I'm in this kind of this hammock floating away, and I was just going, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" I was like, "What's that golden ball of energy?" And this golden dragon says to me, "That's you. That's who you are. That was me. That was my beginning.
Right.
Just this golden ball of energy." And I
Yeah.
was that's amazing. It just made so much sense. And I came out of this meditation, I was just like, "Holy shit. I used to be." So there's like this golden dragon, and and it was just this amazing journey. I absolutely loved it. And I think that's the beauty of it. So if you can get people into this realm and understand that the origins aren't just here. We're not just, these cells that our parents made. We are from the cosmos. We are so
Yeah.
many light years away, and we have been on some incredible journeys, and understanding, each life that we had was a lesson, and each life left a little piece of us here.
Mm.
And I think we spoke briefly, didn't we, about the soul pieces that come in, and sometimes during a healing, a soul piece will make themselves available.
Yeah.
Now, either they'll either want to be reconnected, or they will say not ready because they have something else to learn before I can come in. And so I'm just like very much like everything else that I do, just very guided into how it works. And,
Yeah.
we just take that energy and just go with it. And it's just, it's incredible. I love it.
So if somebody wanted to find you, if somebody thought, "Do you know what? She's right on my street, is Colette." Because you're very, you talk like me. It's just normal. It's just normal talk. It's not like loads of craziness. It's just normal. So I like that. I like when people are tip point and normal. So, if people wanted to find you, where would they find you?
So I'm not very prolific with social media, so I'm not very good at that. And it's something that it's on my list of things to improve at. Every day's a school day, and we do have to continue to improve, don't we? And put ourselves in situations that make.
You want to call one of them unemployed angels then?
I know.
Unemployed angels in Vop Tech.
Yeah, some of them. Yeah, some of the social media ones. So yeah. So, mainly my main sort of one would be Facebook, White Dragon Healing with Colette on Facebook, and on there you will just see where all my events are. My guided meditation link for a Monday. And just that's where you'll find me pretty much all the time is on the Facebook side of life. There's a WhatsApp button. You can always just send a WhatsApp and we can reach out. I do healings at home, obviously at my events. And I'm happy to, I'm mobile. I can throw my treatment bed in the car. I can come to you or, wherever. And just, get it out there and do it. It's treat yourselves. That's what I say. You don't know what you're missing until you've had it.
Yeah, I'm gonna book a session. I'm telling you now.
Yeah.
I'm just getting a session. I want in.
I will get that route sorted, mate.
Yeah. Oh, it's been amazing talking today. Thank you so much for joining me.
You're welcome, Stacey. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to me, Stacey Bower, on Guide to Spirituality podcast. If you enjoyed this chat, feel free to follow, share, or leave a review. It really helps. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and keep showing up for you. See you next time.